What's up, YouTube? Hopefully we are live now. I'm going to airbrush this little pack of skulls. And this is from Slick Mix, stencil number 3 set. It's from Mickey Harris, world-renowned airbrush artist. So give me just a second here. I want to get some stuff set up. Just check the feed quick. Looks like I have at least one person in here. So if you're in here, say hi in the chat. I'd like to see if that is working. Give me a second here. Sorry, I'll stop giving you motion sickness in a second. Alright, so thanks for tuning in. And just gonna be airbrushing these skulls. Got some paint mixed up here. Just gonna tell you what I did. I use a couple of the air, oil, and lead illustration colors. These are all CREATEX illustration colors. This is the air, oil, and lead neutral gray 3. And then I got some Payne's gray mixed up. Some more air, oil, and lead neutral gray 6. What's up, Next Level? Thanks for stopping by, man. Then I got some illustration white mixed up, and then some illustration black. I did mix all of these with a little bit of 40-30 and some 40-11 reducer. And I got my airbrushes all set up, ready to go. It's nice and clean, so I'll get the camera mounted up here. Try to get, looks like I got the chat kind of big on the screen, so uh-oh, hope I didn't lose you there. There we go. So how's Next Level doing today? So we are going to start out with some neutral gray 3 as our base and foundation colors. So just get it loaded up here in the airbrush. And of course, I don't have anything to test spray on, so give me a second to grab something. All good. I think it sounds good. So it's always best to have a piece of paper or something to spray out your airbrush first before you start working on your actual product. Make sure everything's flowing good. And need some more air pressure here. I think I got an airbrush dirty or something. Alright, well, this step really isn't going to make much of a difference. I think I got something dirty airbrush here or something in it, but my first step, I'm just going to take that neutral gray, which is kind of the middle tone of all the colors that I have mixed up, and I'm just going to come in and lay kind of a base of it down. Okay, maybe I'm not. This airbrush is acting up. Alright. I'm gonna have to switch airbrushes here. I don't know what's going on with this one. I haven't airbrushed in a few weeks, so who knows. I probably left something in it. Alrighty, sounds better. Much better. Alright, let's get to some painting. So I'm just going to come in with a really light coat of this gray number 3. And I guess I should explain, I did cut some square holes in this stencil. That way I could just put some tape over it and stick it down to my surface. That way I don't have to hold it or worry about it moving around on me or anything. So I am working on just a black aluminum panel. I think it's 6 by 9 inches. Bear with me, I'm out of paint. Since I loaded it into that first airbrush that is acting up. So still just fogging in that first neutral gray, trying to get it nice and even. Since I want this coat nice and even, I'm starting some cross hatching. First I was going horizontally across. Now I'm trying to work in up and down vertically. I might have to move this camera. I don't know if you can see on there, but it's causing a big shadow over these skulls, this first skull for me. Now I'm just drying it off. Stuff's probably pretty dry already. not quite even, but this is going to be kind of my mid-tone and back tone. I'm going to have a lot more layers on top of this, so I'm not really too worried about having this completely saturated and covered. Give me a second here. I'm going to have to clean out and use the same airbrush, since my other one is dirty. I didn't prepare properly. Give me just a second here too. So next step, we are going to come in with some Payne's Gray. I'm going to bring back in the positive part of the stencil. And I'm going to register all these teeth and all these eyes and all the divisions in here. And we'll probably do some of the shadowing as well with our Payne's Gray while we still have that stencil on here. So I'm just going to come in really lightly now with the Payne's Gray and in all these eye sockets, the nose, and the teeth. And I'm going to keep this really light too. And I'm not just going to pound this color solid in there. I want to use this to start giving some depth and dimension. So in the deeper spots of the eye sockets, I'll start there and I'll kind of fade and blend my paint out towards the lighter parts in the eye socket and in the nose. So we'll just have to just kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So we'll just start with this big guy here. In the nose. Start at the bottom, come off that edge just a little bit. Just kind of fog in that nose really lightly, coming off that bottom edge where that nose will be darker. And then these eye sockets will be darker, in the center, kind of low, coming out of the center lower part of the eye sockets. So we'll start, kind of in this corner here, just starting to get some color in there, register where this is at. A little dry tip, make sure you pick that off. And then we'll just kind of fog up off this bottom edge and that whole eye socket, keeping some distance to kind of get a lot of overspray. What's up, Bill? Thanks for stopping by. Painting some skulls, man. Old typical traditional stuff. Trying to work my own black and gray technique. Well, not my own, but my own little style. I'm using it. So I'm just going to go through the teeth, get those registered real quick. Again, keeping it nice and light. We'll pull this away and show you what's going on so far. So let me wait for the feed to catch up on my end. There's a slight delay. I want to make sure that you can see it. You can kind of see how I've started the eye sockets darker down in the corners. in the deeper spots, and then just kind of drifting that paint up to give us that registration in there. So we'll go back through the whole thing and do that too. I'm gonna darken up the eyes a little bit more, nose a little bit more, give me a little bit more shading in there, a little more dimension. And then I'm going to come around the top of this eye socket as well after I pick my tip dry, because there's going to be a little bit of a cast shadow from the eyebrow as well, or the bone brow. Same thing on this side. So Bill, Next Level, and anyone else that's watching, how is the audio? How's the visual? Anything else I need to change? I know I don't like the chat. I don't know. I'll have to figure out how to change that. Make it a little smaller and easier to read on the screen there. Just coming into this next skull, doing the same thing. Starting bottom of that nose, drifting it up. Same thing with the eyes. Making sure to hold that stencil down. It's not blowing all over. Audio, video good? Thanks. Yeah, audio is what it is. I'm actually just on my iPhone streaming, so it is what it is for sure on this thing. Ain't no changing that. So, unless you get a good mic, you really can't avoid background noise. Yeah, I know that. And I got my little box fan going. It's only like 2 feet from the camera, too. And I've had a couple of neighbors mowing already, so hopefully they're all done. And you can hear me good. I hope so, because my phone's like right in my face. I don't know how much I like that, but I'll get used to it. I'm surprised my computer can handle the feed, but since now that I finally upgraded my phone from my old SE, I don't even know how old those things were, 6, 7 years. Yeah. Now that I got the new 2020 SE phone, all my video looks way, way better. And hopefully, I know the performance of this new phone's way better too, so yeah. So hopefully having this new phone, the performance of that to the feed to YouTube makes my feeds good enough that I don't have to buy $1,000 plus computer to do live feeds. And also, this will be nice when I'm actually downstairs in the booth. I might even try that later. I got some tumblers to paint, but I might just throw my cell phone on the chest cam or head cam strap. Go down in the booth, paint some tumblers live so you can see me in the booth. See how that works, because I wanted to start doing my Tech Tuesday CREATEX tips. I want to start doing those live so if people have questions they can just ask me while we're doing it, and I can do some testing actually too live so you can see some of the stuff I try to do with CREATEX, all the stuff people tell me I can't do, and I'm figuring out ways to do. So, I think I got enough paint on there. I actually missed a few spots. These little dividers in some of these skulls. So let's just pull that away, see what we got for now. If I can get it off there, one-handed. Yeah, there's what we got so far. I'm just gonna go in and check for some spots in the eyes and noses that I want to maybe go darker on. I see some in some of these eyes. Actually, all these eyes I'm probably gonna go a little bit darker in, because we're a long ways away from black. So Bill says, oh, believe me, I got a camera in the way all the time. Yeah, I know, I see that. And that's why I said I'll probably get used to it, because it seems like you have. You use your old SE still for all your vids, nice. And you can use EpoCam and stream Wi-Fi straight to OBS. I'm not sure if I follow you there. That's probably way too technical for me. I'm lucky I'm able to figure out how to do this. And all I'm doing, I'm streaming mobile off my mobile phone through OBS, Streamlabs OBS, I should say. And I don't have 1,000 followers, so Streamlabs lets me do it somehow. Word, Bill. I'll hit you up later, man. I'll be around, painting all day. Alright. I'm digging that. So, while I got the Payne's Gray in here yet, this pile, it's going to be these top skulls this way, and then they're just going to pile backwards. So, we'll want to start our shading to kind of start dividing all of these up. So what I'm gonna do, pull this I'm gonna keep this very first skull all the way down. I'm gonna flip this skull back. It has a nice little cutout there. I'm just gonna hit this edge, give me a little bit of shadow. Divide, and then I'll break these two skulls up. Let's go really light for now. There you go. You can see how it's kind of divided there. And then in the stencil, it's not split here. So I'm just gonna see if I can find another spot on this stencil to use. I'm just gonna use that spot we just used for down here. I'm just gonna try to see if it'll fit there. Kind of make my shadowed line onto this next skull. Hit this edge again, staying more on the stencil. I'm just kind of letting my paint drift off the stencil. It'll give me that nice little faded shadow back there. So we're just gonna move along and keep shadowing. Oh, I missed a little spot right down here. So we'll just find another curved spot like that, and we'll do the same thing. Just hit the edge of that, stencil and let our paint drift off. A little more. Get a little dry tip there. So the next skull, that one's not cut either, so we'll just find, see if we can't find another spot for that one. Actually, this skull's on top of this one, so we'll want to put our shadow on the skull that's in the back. So we'll just find a nice, we'll actually use that curve. Oh, hey, I'm missing some comments. David Spencer, welcome David. David says, I'm new to your channel and have very little experience with an airbrush, but hoping to learn. That's awesome, David. I'm glad you're here. If you're really wanting to learn airbrushing, go check out W. Leon Artistry. He's in the chat right now. He has 100, I'm sure over 100 videos covering all aspects of airbrushing. So yeah, he's a really good channel to go to. Check him out. And he actually talks in the chat as well. He says I should be painting. Actually was when I got the notification. He says, hi David, y'all watching, hit the man's like button. It's helpful for my channel. Yes, appreciate that. So yeah, if you hit that like button, that helps my channel out, helps me grow. Now I got my stencil a little wet with that one. Give me a second. Always make sure your stencil's dry before you start handling it. You can see I went a little heavy with the paint there. Must have a clog or something. I really should have cleaned my airbrushes before I started this, but oh well. So next up, this skull. As you can see, it's in front of this skull and this skull, so we're going to want to add some shadows to push those other ones back. So we'll just put it back down, and the stencil's cut right there, so just come back again, hit this, hope you can see it, just hit this edge, nice and light again. There we go, separating those skulls. This one does not have separation. And this skull is in front of this one and this one, so we'll just find somewhere else on the stencil here. I'm actually going to do this one in a couple different parts. I'm just going to do this part of it first with this piece of the stencil. Try to stay off this skull here, which you can see I clearly did not. I kind of got a little bit over, but that's all right. We'll fix that later. And we'll move over here, add a little shadow, push this one in the back a little. And then here's our last one. And this one's not, the stencil's not split up. It's got a little split in one part here. So we can use the stencil. It's going to be a tough one to do on camera where you can see it, but I'm just going to flip this up and hit this front of the mouth area, the front of the skull. There we go. And let's see if we can find something to give us a little separation right there. There we go. So now I got all my skulls kind of separated. Still got the Payne's Gray in here. Now on these skulls, which looks like I missed a registration mark on this one, but on the sides of the head, there's like an indent here. And all these have little registration lines in there to give you an idea where they are. I missed this one here. And actually on this stencil, you can kind of see how this one curls in on the top of the brow. I don't really like how it curls in. I'll kind of stop my registration up in this area. And I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about here. get it dusted in, and I'm just kind of stopping right at the top of the eye right there. So, I don't know if you can see that on camera. I can see it good enough right here. So, what we're going to do, this part of the skull right around the eye sockets is always, it's higher. It's always going to be closer to you. So everything closer is going to be lighter in color, and everything further away is going to be darker. So while we still got the Payne's gray in here, we're going to start pushing back some of our darker areas on all the skulls. And I always like to start, you know, with these indents on the side of the head, just to give the skull it just builds the whole shape a little better. So I'm just going to start here. I'm going to try to keep my airbrush and overspray going that way, because that's the way the shadow is going to go. And this is going to kind of be we're going to try to keep this edge nice and hard right here, but eventually, you know, I want it kind of shaded because it is a rounded piece. So I just want to direct my paint where it's going to be the, you know, where the skull is going to be the darkest, or where I want it to be the darkest. So we'll start coming in here. This is really hard with this thing in my camera in my face, so let me actually move it around, see if I can't get you a better view of what I'm doing and make it easier on myself. That's not gonna work. There we go. There we go. That's a little better. Make sure your airbrush is always clean and working good. Blowing off your surface first. As you can see, I'm just working off that bone line, working that way. I'm trying to stay, you know, on that side of the line. I don't care if it drifts over a little bit, because I'll want to do that anyway at the end, give myself a little shadow on this bone here. So I'm going to just come in the nose, do some freehand, get a little bit darker down in this bottom part. Now I'm just going to go around these eyes real lightly, right on the line. Let my paint drift up a little bit that way and down here. Give the eyes depth and shadow. It'll make it look like those bones are actually rounded by giving it, you know, some shading. So I'm just coming in real light on those lines. I'm having some issues with my paint here today, or my airbrushes, so I apologize. I'm getting a lot of dry tip. So the whole eye sockets are rounded in and down, so we can go around the whole eye sockets here, giving them that little bit of shadow off of that hard line that we made in there with our stencils. And then in skulls, you know, above the nose, right, you know, in between the eyes, And there's kind of, you know, it kind of comes deeper, so we can always kind of just you know, drift our paint off of this corner of the eye, you know, kind of give us an indentation of darkness and give us a little bit of depth there. Same thing over here. Push those back. And this eye is kind of light, so I'm going to add some paint, darken it up. So hey, it looks like we got 5 or 6 people in here. I don't know if it's counting me watching myself or not, so say hi if you're watching. Appreciate you stopping by. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. So right here, I'm just adding this cheekbone. This jaw is up under the, you know, the cheekbone. So I just found a spot on my stencil here. Just kind of lightly dusted it in, push that back. Doing the same thing here. Oops. Go the right way. I'll push that jaw back under the skull there. And then along the bottom of this cheekbone here, I'm just going to hit real soft. Give that some dimension as well. And then give that jaw a little shading as well, going down. And then the skull here, we'll kind of stay off of this back edge. Just come on the inside of it and put a little bit of a light shadow that starts darker down here and kind of gets lighter as we go up top. Because our light source is going to be coming from the top this way. Then I'm just going to come in the nose here, around the nose. You know, your nose bone, the bone sticks out, so you know, it's highest out at the peak here at the top, and then it kind of goes back and indents in here. But it is typically higher than, you know, your, I don't even know, your mustache area, I guess, your upper lip. So I'll stay off of that and just kind of put a little bit of light shadowing down here under the nose. Kind of bring that nose forward a little more. And I'll do it down the side of the nose as well. Give it, stand off that very edge. There we go. All the way around the skull. It's rounded, so we're gonna have, you know, some rounding. So I always go really lightly around the edge, just to give it a little bit of dimension, letting it just kind of dust in on the skull. And over here, we'll just do the same thing around the outside. This part of the cheekbone, this little corner, that's going to be kind of rolled up under. So we'll want to, you know, make it a little bit darker. Give me a second here to get some dry tip. Yeah, we'll just come off that edge in that corner, kind of give it some depth, push it back. This cheekbone's going to be out the farthest, you know, throughout the middle. Right here where the stencil rounds in again, it's going to be a little darker again, so we'll just come off that edge a little bit. And that'll give us a little dimension there as well. Now, hopefully, airbrush will work for me here because we're about to go into these teeth, and these are really, really small on this stencil, as you can kind of see for size reference there. So in all these dark spots, we're going to come in those and we're just going to go up and try to dust really lightly, because in between each of those, in between each of your teeth, there's a little indent in your skull, and we'll want to just lightly, get those in there. So we'll just come up off of those. Let's start on those, try to aim for those really small little gaps, and then just small dagger strokes off of those. Get it started, dagger stroke, dagger stroke. So get my paint, make sure it's flowing right here. Keep my dry tip off. We'll hit these quick. Same thing on the bottom. My paint is not acting right. There we go. I'll just add some roundness to this jaw here. I'm having some fits with my paint here, and my airbrush is being dirty. Should have cleaned them first, for sure. Alright, so that's kind of about as far as I'm going to go with Payne's Gray. I'm probably going to end up splitting this video into two. What up, B-Red? Watching while you work? Hopefully you're not watching and driving, buddy. You gotta be safe out there. But you can watch and listen. I'm cool with that. So I'm just coming into the next skull, doing what I did on the first one. Just doing my shading. Yeah, I'm having some major fits with my airbrush. Maybe I'll try another one, that next color here. See if that helps. But yeah, David or anyone else that's watching, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Just type it in the comments below or in the chat box. And I was intending on trying to do this piece as fast as possible, because I'm extremely slow at airbrushing. I'm still learning, but I don't know. I think I might try to speed it up here through the rest of these, because no offense to any of my fans or anybody, but this is actually going to be in the next giveaway, I think, as long as it doesn't turn out too horribly. So yeah, this might be your piece one day. But I'm just going to kind of blow through the rest of these to kind of show you. I'll work on my speed personally, and just kind of show you each step I normally take. My black and white work here. Looks like I missed some shading on this one, so I didn't do it dark enough, one or two. Oops. So I probably really don't need my stencil on here anymore, because I am working on a black surface, so any overspray we can always clean up just easily with some black. Coming in, trying to get a little separation in those teeth, give us a little shading. All right. Now we'll just come in, check if there's any areas we want to make a little darker, push a little deeper. So has anybody got questions? Anybody got anything to say? Keep me busy. I don't have any music going in, nothing, because I'm not really sure about copyright stuff yet. So I'll have to look into that so we can have some music, at least I'm not boring myself to death here. All right, I think I like where we're at there. So I'm gonna keep my paint in that airbrush for now. Well, let's try. I'm pretty sure I cleaned and polished the needle on this thing. I haven't used it, I don't think. Busting out the CREATEX PS770. This is basically the Iwata Micron, but it's like half the price. You can find that at spraygunner.com. Or if you use my Amazon link down below in the description, I will get a small little commission. I think it's like $5 or something on one of these, but every little bit helps the channel. I got some big things planned as soon as I get a better computer that can handle better editing and video stuff. So, alright, I'm getting my airbrush loaded up here. I'm coming in now with illustration Neutral Gray 6, which is probably going to look white on here, but it is a light gray. So now I'm just going to come in and gonna start hitting the brightest spots on here. Yeah, we'll actually do this step first, and then we'll get this stencil off. But I'm gonna try to do this fast as possible. Yeah, paint seems to be flowing good so far in this airbrush. So now I'm just gonna come in and start hitting all the light spots or bright spots, everything I want to pull forward. Bill says, be careful with SoundCloud. He says he got hit for copyright with them and have an account for supposedly safe streaming music. Yeah, I know. I got hit with a copyright on one of the videos I just posted for a song that was on one of YouTube's actual channels that says all copyright free crap. So yeah, I gotta figure that out. But first I'm just gonna come in and start hitting these teeth with my paint. There we go. Just the middle spot of these teeth. And I gotta turn my air pressure down a lot. I was running at like 40 psi. I like high air pressure. Alright, I don't know what I'm at now. I'm just using my Mac valve. But I just gotta turn down a little bit, so. Paint's not flowing that good, probably because I'm slow and I pre-mixed all this before the feed. Yeah, I need more reducer. There. Back flush. Shake it up. Let's see. There we go. Air pressure is still a little high. Why am I having so many problems today? It's only 77 degrees in the studio and 50 degrees humidity. Paint should not be giving me issues here like it is. This is what happens when you don't airbrush for a long time. You forget how to. So here's where we'll start to see a lot of dimension come building up on the skull here. Alright, I'm going back to my higher air pressure now. And I'm having some issues with paint today, or airbrushes. I'll get that highlight really bright on the top of that nose. Bill says, be right back. I'll stay in. I gotta go. Whatever, Bill. That's cool, man. If you can make it, you can make it. Feel like a superstar having you here. So if you're here, you didn't hear me earlier. If you want to learn some airbrushing, go subscribe to W. Leon Artistry. He has tons of great content. About every aspect you can think of when it comes to airbrushing. When you want to do some fine detail, make sure you come in really, really tight. As you can see, I'm kind of rusty here. Having a few little blowouts here because I like to run high air pressure. I need to get used to running low air pressure. There we go. Kind of blending that blowout I had there. Or the couple. Fix this blowout on this tooth here. As I say that, I make another blowout. I got my paint extremely thinned down now, so apparently too much. If you ever get your paint thinned down too much, just add some 40-30. It's always best to let that mix sit a while though. Alright, time to try to work on speed. There we go. Paint's feeling a lot better so far. Be rad, yes. You can come over and rock out anytime. Maybe we can just make up a song and I'll get hit. Yeah, we could always do that. I'm glad you're just listening, Brad, and not driving down the highway and watching YouTube. Does anybody out there have any questions, comments? Are you enjoying? What do you want to see next? Blowout City today. Jersey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? What are you up today? Up to today? You working? You bet. I haven't talked to you for a minute. I don't know. Man. Sorry, y'all. I'm rusty. I'm doing blowouts everywhere on here. I haven't been airbrushing a lot lately and I'm very rusty. But a nice thing about doing skulls, that blowout look actually gives it some added texture. You don't necessarily have to fix them all. Just make them look like they're supposed to be there. Took the summer off, too hot to weld. Awesome. That's good. So I haven't seen you around much, Jersey. Been pretty quiet. I figured you were working a lot. Alright. I think I'm happy with that stage. No, we'll actually come in with some white. Do our final highlighting before we come in and do some black. Bear with me here, clean out the airbrush quick. And since I pre-mixed all my paints, and they've been sitting for a while now, they probably dried out a little bit, so I'm gonna add a little reducer first here. And with CREATEX, it's typically always best to let your paint mix it with reducer and or UVLS clear or 40-30 balancing clear. And let it mix it for, try to mix it for a minute or so at least. and let it sit for a good 5 or 10 minutes. I like to let it sit at least 10 minutes, and it just flows so much better. So. Jersey says, skulls are small, very challenging. Good job. Thank you. Yeah. There's a size comparison for you. I got big hands too. So, yeah, this is a 6-inch by 9-inch panel. And we're just getting to the fun part. The black and white. There's no black and white in this at all. This is all just gray tones. Hopefully white flows a little better. Seems like it. Looks like I added enough reducer to bring the paint back. So now I'm just going to come in the brightest spots of this and just add a little bit of white. This camera's in my face. I do not like that. And with the white, I'm just kind of doing streaky. I'm kind of all over. I'm trying to just do a little bit of texture, but I'm trying to stay in the brightest spots. I probably should have added texture earlier if I was trying to do that, but oh well. I'll learn one of these days. Welcome back, Bill. Upload a short 4-minute video for my private guys. Yeah, Bill actually, or W Leon Artistry channel, he actually has a Patreon channel too with some exclusive content. So definitely head over to his YouTube channel, check it out. Like what you see there, you can head over to his Patreon as well for exclusive content. Come on. Alright, I'm having all sorts of problems today with paint. I promise next time I airbrush, I'll make sure they're clean. Don't waste half your day watching me pick dry paint off my needle. Good thing to always do too is every once in a while take a step back from your painting so you can see what you're doing from different distances. It's always going to give you, you'll be able to see different values in it as well too. So. Alright, hopefully my paint flows because I want to knock the rest of these out pretty quick, work on my time. pigment splatter. You missed me starting these and painting them. I started these from scratch. Glad you're here. It is midday here. And thank you, Neil. Well, you did miss, Neil. I did mention that this is probably going to be given away when I hit 200 subscribers. This will be the part of the next giveaway. And I'll do some more stickers as well. And Neil, you won some stickers, so shoot me your address. The next giveaway, I'm not going to beg you guys to get into it, you and Bill. If you miss it, you miss it. Yeah, I know, I let everyone in here. That frickin' pigment splatter. About to be trouble up in here. Getting a little spitting and sputtering here. Let my paint settle. When you're working with white, it's always a good idea to every once in a while just back flush your paint, get it mixed up, spray it out, make sure it's flowing a little better. And something that I didn't do, which is always a good idea, is to have a reference photo up. That's typically something you want to have. Kind of messed up the skull right here, so let me figure out how to fix that. Good enough. Haha. Well, I hope you win this one too, Neil. Be cool. Hopefully I can get to 200 subscribers and it doesn't take me another year. But good things take time, right? Lucky I got Master Bill to teach me patience. It will come. Be patient. Always good to have a reference picture of a skull or something so you know the shading. I'm just kind of going Out of my head here. I don't even have a picture of a skull up anywhere in here. Oh, behind me, I guess. YouTube's a hard one for sure. Says if I check Bill says if I check Nick Neiman's channel, he did a video on it. Average channel with 1,000 views, has been uploading for about 2 years. And 100-ish videos. I think I'm in my 40-some videos now. And I think my first video was over, yeah, it's been over a year now. Just kind of going in here with a little freehand texture. Little trick. Learn from W. Leon Artistry. There's some little squiggles with the airbrush. Alright, I think I like where it's at. And let me step back here. Let's get a little more paint down in there. Fill this face out a little bit more. Alright, I'm doing what I always do. Too much white, too much white. So, less is more, remember that. It's something I always forget. I can preach it, but I can't remember it. Well, looks like I still got some people in here. I'm glad you're all still here. Hopefully you're still enjoying. Bear with me here. I'm getting ready for the black. Actually, while I'm cleaning out the airbrush, let me get a drink and let's actually unmask this so you can see what we got. We won't need the mask anymore now that we're gonna come in with black. Oh, there we have it so far. Well, this is just a black aluminum panel. I just Scotch-Brighted it down. Then I'm painting directly on it too. Alright. Black. Let's get this white cleaned out of the airbrush. Cover it with some black on our final step here. Got the black all loaded up, ready for our last and final step. So we're just going to want to come into the darkest area. First, I'm actually going to go around and clean up these edges where I had a little bit of overspray from the masking. So, just to everybody out there, make sure your airbrushes are always clean. Otherwise, it'll frustrate you so much that you will not enjoy airbrushing. I'm coming up around all these edges. Clean up all the overspray. It also softens up and gives a little bit of a roundness, give you a little more dimension so it doesn't look so stickery. Of course, my airbrush is gonna start acting up once again. I didn't really like that, so erase that out of there. Why is everybody so quiet? What's everybody doing? Nice thing you can always do too, come in with your stencil, just in case you cloud it out or lost any of your marks, like I did in these teeth. I lost a little bit, so you just come back in and then I don't know if you can see this, but I don't know, must have got some paint up under the masking. It's kind of, I can just put this in there, the paint would flow. Focus. Look at all that dry paint. Having major dry tip issues. I don't know what's going on here. Probably my high air pressure. So Neil said, okay, think I'm back. Don't hold your breath. Neil typically has some internet issues, so hopefully he's back. And Bill, W. Leonardo, she says, so I took a car door to the face today, and I'm going to look great in my next video. Good job, Bill. How'd you manage that one? Bill tripped and fell on his face into a door. That sounds fun. Alright, I think I'm going to call this one good. Nothing special, just having fun, practicing. Actually, let me go get some final wipe sprayed on there so you can see what it, so we can simulate some clear coat and see what it would look like. Be right back. So what I got here is some final wipe. This is from TAMCO. It's a very mild solvent wax and grease remover or cleaner, anti-static cleaner. It works really good. It works on water-based paint. It won't wash it away or anything. So let me make sure I got you in frame good so you can watch the magic happen. Alright, let's simulate some clear coat. Oh, I should probably pump it up. Oh. Great. Something's wrong with my pump. There you have it. Just a fun little practice piece. And like I said, this is a mild cleaner. You spray it right on top of CREATEX as long as it's dried. And no adhesion issues. So one of these days, probably next time I'm in the booth, I'll get some clear for this one. I'll get some clear on this. I might add to it too. Like I said, this is probably going to be the next giveaway. Maybe I'll add something to it, or I don't know. I'm looking to collaborate with some other YouTubers as well. So if you're out there and want to maybe do a collab piece where one of us does part of it, sends it off to the other, and they finish it off with their style or tricks, that'd be cool. So you can always get at me on Facebook or Instagram. So I haven't ate today. I think I'm gonna go get some grub, eat some food, and I might come back live and do some. I got some tumblers I need to get painted tonight. So if you were around a little later today, watch for possible another live feed. So appreciate everyone coming by. Hold on, we got a question first. Neil says, is that the stencil you showed last night? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. This is what I used. And it is Slick Mix, Mickey Harris's stencil kit. This is like a really old stencil kit that a fellow airbrusher found at like an auto parts store for $2 or $3. And he asked me if I wanted them. I got another one as well that's a skull. And these actually all come in. I got this pack and the other design. Both of them came with 3 different sizes. So this is a 6x9 panel, so this is like an 8-inch one. This is the smallest one out of this set. In a second, I'll just grab the other ones right here. So came in a set. So for size comparison, and then an even bigger one. So yeah, I got these for like $3. So that's the stencil kit I used for that one, and then the other one I got, which I did use already. This came with 3 sizes as well. Some really big ones. So yeah, I'll probably do some practice with these skulls at another point on one of these live sessions as well. So yeah, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go cook some food. Set up to paint some tumblers, get some vinyl cut. And I will probably come back on live in a few hours. So hope you enjoyed this one. Till next time, keep those brushes stroking.